Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. Rajaso lobhayeva cha pramadamoho tamaso pramadamoho tamaso bhavato ajnanameva cha pramadamoho tamaso bhavato ajnanameva cha ajnanameva cha. This is the 17th verse from chapter 14 of the Bhagavad Gita. And in this shloka, Bhagavan Shri Krishna outlines 3 gunas and classifies them as sattva, rajas and tamas. So most fundamentally, guna means quality or characteristic, and it is something that is innate, a quality or characteristic that comes from within without being taught by someone or being forced by someone else, something that is natural to the entities known as guna. And Shri Krishna classifies them as sattva, rajas and tamas, and says that sattva guna yields jnanam or wisdom, and rajas leads to lobha or greed, while tamas gives stupor or ignorance and the tendency to commit sin and error. So clearly he's demarcated a hierarchy between noble and least noble. But what is the importance of the sattva guna? What exactly does it imply? What does it mean? Sri Papanashram Shivan, in his composition Tattvam Tharamaa, in the very first line of the Anupallavi, says that sattva guna is the first of 3 fundamental qualities required for us to attain enlightenment. And let's hear in his own words what the other 2 qualities are. Sattva gunamum jivadayayum jnanamum. Sattva gunamum jivadayayum jnanamum satrum illada kiradan. Sattva gunamum jivadayayum jnanamum satrum illada kiradanaka unade tattvam Ariya Tharamaa. Sattva gunamum jivadayayum jnanamum satrum illada kiradanaka unade tattvam Ariya Tharamaa. So he says sattva guna, jivadaya and jnanam are essential for us to be enlightened or realize tattvam. And sattva guna, Bhagavan Shri Krishna again says in the Gita that it is not just acting nobly, but in line with the Western philosophy, Shri Krishna has said a yuga ago, in Dwapara Yuga, that sattva guna pervades the mind, speech as well as action. So in mind, it means the purity of intentions, the lack of malice and the control of the senses, where you're not indulging in worldly pleasures just for pleasure, like fleeting happiness. And the second is sattva in speech, where you only speak words that are constructive to you and cause the upliftment of others, and basically words that don't harm anyone at the very least. And the third is sattva in action, which means respecting those who deserve it, mata, pita, guru, doing charity and helping out those in need, and practicing ahimsa or being noble or merciful to living creatures. And that brings us to the second quality that he describes, which is jivadaya. Jivadaya is being merciful, empathetic and compassionate towards other living creatures. And where does this Jivadaya stem from? Fundamentally, it can stem from the wisdom or jnanam, which he says is the third quality, that we are all but just one and the same in this world, or which means that we are all nothing but a latent form of that Supreme Brahman. And this is what he said in the Pallavi as Tattvam. So, in this way, he sort of creates a beautiful circle of meaning, where he says Sattvaguna is essential, and when Sattvaguna pervades action, it manifests as Jivadaya or compassion. And when compassion, we see where it stems from. It stems from the jnanam or wisdom that we are all equals, or that we are all one and the same as Brahman, which is what Tattvam is. So, he says that these are the three fundamentals to realize that true Brahman. And he says that the one who is devoid of these three qualities is a Kiradan. And what does he mean by the word Kiradan? And take note that he has used a very uncommon terminology. He says Kiradan. So the literal meaning of the word should mean hunter. But if he just wanted to mean hunter, he could have just used the pure Tamil word and said Veduvan. But instead he has used vocabulary from Sanskrit, which means that he is trying to hint at something that is deeper than the superficial translation. And in this context, by Kiradan, he does not mean a hunter at all. He means to hint at someone who is crude and who is unsophisticated by mind, who is a simpleton, who doesn't see beyond his immediate physical or his immediate survival needs. And such a man has no mind to contemplate the divine, who has he doesn't have the capacity to think beyond his immediate circle of tangible needs, and so he does not look for the deeper meaning that lies in life or what governs and runs this world. And he says such a man, a layman or a commoner, is fundamentally devoid of these three qualities, because by being such a crude, unsophisticated person who's absorbed in his own essentials, he is not selfless, so he lacks Sattvaguna. And since he is so absorbed in himself, he cannot be compassionate or cannot look out for other living creatures, so he lacks Jivadaya. And if he did have the third quality of Jnanam, he would realize that we are nothing but one and the same as the Brahman, and would resign his immediate needs to the care of the Brahman and would resort to helping others, knowing that what happens to him is not totally dictated by him, and he would do good and believe that what comes to him will be the best from the Brahman or the Supreme Power. And this is, of course, a very supreme, enlightened state of existence which was achieved by Mahayogis like Sadashiva Brahmendra and the likes. There is a story that Sadashiva Brahmendra was once walking on the streets so engrossed in Bhagavat Dhyanam that when a butcher came with his knife and threatened to cut his arm off, he didn't even realize it. And when he actually cut his arm off, Sadashiva Brahmendra didn't even notice, he just walked on. And when the butcher called out to him and asked him with alarm, he just said, "Oh, is it my arm?" And he fixed it back and walked away. And such is that extreme state of oneness with the divine that could result if we adopted these practices and this state of Sattvagunam, Jivadaya and Jnanam. Of course, this does not mean that we should also roam roam the streets hoping that someone doesn't chop our arm down. But what he means to say is that by addressing a Kiradan, he's trying to hint at us, lay people or commoners, saying at some level that we are all lacking in these qualities. And it is our duty to ourselves to take one step closer to realizing this truth by imbibing in us these qualities of selflessness, of compassion, of wisdom and contemplation of the divine, that we are getting closer to that ultimate goal of reaching the Parabrahman. And by saying so, he concludes the Pallavi asking if such a common man who is lacking in these three qualities is truly worthy of that supreme enlightenment of Tattvam, that you are that. சத்வகுணமும் ஜீவதயையும் ஞானமும் சற்றும் இல்லாத கிராதனக்கு உனது தத்துவம் அறிய தரமா மூலாதார கணபதே சுரபதே உனது தத்துவம் அறிய தரமா தரமா தரமா